And I didn't tell anybody this. This is exclusive Desktop Bodybuilding.
What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm talking with Sergio Oliva Jr. about his beef, his feud, whatever you want to call it, with Akim Williams and Patrick Moore. And Sergio really opens up in this one and gives us all the info because he was good friends with Patrick Moore. And we discuss where that's at now, what went down at the 2020 Arnold Classic, where he actually did beat both of these guys. Did they speak? Did they not? All that and more come up in this video, guys. And make sure that you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell button, because this is part of part 2 of my 2-part interview with Sergio Oliva Jr. It'll be up in about 24 hours after this video. So make sure you tune into that one as well. And let me know what you think about what Sergio has to say in the comments below. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Yeah. Now, you're an outspoken guy. You very much speak the truth of what you believe. You'll talk about other competitors, not necessarily in a negative way, but you'll bring up their names and give your honest opinion, which I think is amazing for the sport. There's other guys out there that do it. You got obviously Nathan Diash, and there's a few other guys that do it. But I think a lot of guys out there now are scared to do that because they're worried about the way they'll be judged, talked about on social media and stuff that wasn't around back in the day. But when, Pro Bodybuilding Weekly first came out with Dan Solomon and Bob Ciccarello, you had Jay Cutler saying something about Ronnie, and it was really cool because then they'd bring it up at the Olympia and it would create that really good rivalry. And so sometimes now it's just guys just throwing things around, and it's just, sometimes it's a bit fabricated. But two guys going into this Arnold Classic that, I don't know what you want to call it, if it's a beef or words were said back and forth, was Patrick Moore and Akim Williams. Now, you came out obviously on top of all these guys. A lot of people were comparing you and Patrick Moore leading into the show, and some people were saying, nah, Patrick will win. Other people say, nah, Sergio. And I did predict you would beat Patrick Moore, but I thought it might be a little bit closer. Now, did you and Patrick talk at the show, before or after the show? Like, what went down between you, Patrick, and you and Akim?
Well, first I have to touch on that. You brought up Pro Bodybuilding Weekly. I don't think you even have any followers that even know what you just said. That is literally what I would listen to when I first started bodybuilding. I would listen to it on my little iPod, like it was like a mini disc, and I would listen to it while I worked out. It was so crazy because that's what got me into bodybuilding. I loved hearing the gossip, and it was like almost news for bodybuilders. So that's really cool that you brought that up. But you're right, it hasn't been anything like that since. And the beef, you're right. Nowadays, it's like, it's either so fake or it's so disrespectfully personal. And there's people that don't know how to write. They don't know how to talk about someone else without having to tear them down or talk about their personal issues. It's just really shitty with some guys. And you're right. They don't come at me because they know that I will destroy them if they ever want to come at me on a personal level. But the Patrick thing was very disheartening for me because, and I didn't talk about this. Was the first time, and even Dexter talked about it in his big interview that he just did. It was the first time I've never came back at anyone. Akim and Patrick made full long videos about me, and I didn't say anything. I just showed up on stage. But the Patrick thing was the most disheartening because me and Patrick were really good friends. If I had to pick probably my best friend of the open pros, it would have been Patrick. We used to be on Labrada together, and we got screwed by them together a long time ago, and we kind of had each other's backs. And it was really cool that, when we were both, amateurs, we took care of each other. And then now here we are getting ready for the Arnold. And I didn't tell anybody this. This is exclusive Desktop Bodybuilding. Patrick's wife left him. And now he's talking to me, right? Someone who I had the same thing happen, and we're relating, and I'm messaging him every day, man, you know what? Screw that. We're going to kill this. We're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Sending him all these quotes and memes every day. I'll comment when he's closing the gym down. So we're talking all the time. Now I do an interview on RX, and I say that if you add 4 people that were missing at the Olympia, he would have been moved back 4 places. And this is just a perfect example of the social media, what I was talking about today, is that you have someone, and this is what happened. I know all his fans, all his little dick grabbers sent him all the video. Oh my God, look, Sergio's talking shit. Sergio's talking shit. So he already watched it with that mindset. And that's all I said. I didn't talk about his body. I didn't talk about I didn't compare him to me, nothing, none of that. And they all made that up. Palumbo and all the other places made that up. They said, Sergio said you could have got last place. Never did I say those words. He said that if he would have done the Olympia, he would have beat you. Never said that. And I really wish, and I told Patrick this, I said, you need to watch that again because you blew up for nothing. And this is the only thing that made me upset, and this is why we won't be friends again. It's because we're talking every day now, right? I'm consoling you because of your issue with your relationship. How come you don't message me? How come you don't text me? You don't DM me? You don't call me? You go straight to make a video on your story, and then you go straight to an interview with RX with Palumbo. It didn't make any sense. If we're friends, then even if I said something disrespectful, you should go to the other bodybuilder first. And that's just the difference between I thought pro bodybuilders and fitness industry people are different, but he acted like a fitness industry person where he wanted that attention. And sometimes that's what's happening nowadays. And you said it a little bit in the beginning of this interview. Some guys actually want that attention and they'll actually create beefs because then they can bite off of those followers.
Yep.
You know, I'm the first to tell you, I don't give a shit about followers. I don't care at all. It doesn't even matter to me, social media. But I have way more than him, and he's smart. If he starts up a beef with someone who has 3 times as many followers than him, no matter what, those people are going to click on his page. Who is this guy? And it's very smart marketing. Unfortunately, you just ruined a relationship with a good friend for no reason. So now here we are, we're talking all this shit. Now Akim comes out of nowhere. I've never even talked about Akim. Now he's talking about that I got beat at the Olympia so bad that I actually ran with my tail between my legs. Not that I took time off because I was going through hardship in my life. Not that I wanted to gain a lot of weight. I didn't want to keep doing shows like him and place the same every year like he does. I actually wanted to significantly move up. But in their heads, I was scared and I ran away from bodybuilding. And then look, all you have to do, and I want everybody who's watching this, you don't have to give in to these guys sometimes. If you know that you're better than them and you know you're going to whoop ass, sometimes that hurts so much more. These guys made all these interviews and all these posts, putting these little subtle things in their posts about me, and then they watched me beat them. That has got to be the most disheartening thing. And this was the worst part about the whole Patrick thing. The only reason I brought it up is I was telling him sometimes with bodybuilders, they start to believe their own hype. And you'll go into a show telling yourself, I'm going to win. People need to understand there's never, ever going to happen in the history of bodybuilding where someone's never done the Arnold before and he's going to beat someone who's won the Arnold or just got second place at the Olympia a couple months ago. These guys don't tap the brakes. You're never going to surpass them within a year. If you are, it's going to be where you're getting closer, and then you place right behind them, and then you can pass them. You're never going to go from the back to the front, and unfortunately, he started to believe that. And this was the worst part about it is because Patrick got 10th. That's a great placing. That is actually a great placing when you have 5 past champions doing the show. Unfortunately, when you and your fans are talking about how Patrick's going to win, it makes that 10th place seem like it's a bad placing when if he had never said anything, he had never opened his mouth, everyone would have been like, oh my God, you placed top 10 in your first Arnold with 5 past champions and a Mr. Olympia. But because we hyped it up, because of social media is now becoming more important than actually doing the work. Now it looks like he's the biggest failure of the Arnold. And people said that, and I hate that they said that about him. He was the biggest letdown of the Arnold. That's so, I hate that. And I feel so bad for him. And it's all just because he didn't want to take my advice. I really was trying to help him out, and I gave a lending hand out. So no, I didn't talk to him at the show. I didn't talk to either one of them. People that usually talk shit about me, they're all tough on the camera, but then when I'm with them backstage, they won't say anything. And Akim has to feel like dog shit because he literally has never beat me before. He's never beat me. So here he is now again. And then at prejudging, he was in first call out. So now here he is in first call out. I'm waiting on the side. Akim does one of these where he leans back, looks at me and goes, I got you. Well, no, bodybuilding is not a show where you're placed at prejudging. It is an all-day event, and he learned that because not only did he go from battling for 4th or 5th, he was battling for 8th at the end of the show. So this was just proof that, man, sometimes you just should keep your mouth shut and just do the work. And unfortunately, I don't really care about Akim or having a relationship with him, but the biggest disappointment was that I lost a friendship with Patrick out of this. And what did I do? This is what Aceto keeps saying. You literally talked about math. You added 4 people and you added it to a placing and made people mad. So I don't know. I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah. And I watched that RX Muscle interview with you, and I watched the one with Patrick obviously afterwards as well. And my takeaway was that you weren't you know, you weren't talking badly about him. You were just sort of saying, hey, like, it wasn't the strongest Olympia. Add these guys in, and he placed where you placed, but he's heavily, heavily hyped. And even if you put him a place or 2 places ahead of where he was, he's still back in 12th or whatever, and people wouldn't have been talking about him the same sort of way had it been a stronger lineup. And that's I totally agree with that as well. And I think, like you said, he has all these people sending it to him saying, oh, look what Sergio said about you. And I feel like that means it almost gives him in his head the right to be like, hey, I should be pissed off about this. Because, you know, if I had 20, 30, 50 people send to me something like, look what this guy said about you, I'd be like, well, what did that guy actually say? And I'd be like, you know, you're going to look at it in a different lens. And I think you summed that up perfectly. And I would love to get Patrick on here as well to at least have his say and you know, where he's coming from as well. You know, because I think everyone should have their say and be able to say what they want. So I'm welcome to have him on it as well. So that's it for another video. Make sure that you tune in for part 2 of my interview with Sergio Oliva Jr. Part 1 is already up as well. The link is in my description of this video, so you can go back and watch part 1, and part 2 will be up about 24 hours after this video goes live on my YouTube account at Desktop Bodybuilding. So thank you guys so much. If you guys like and appreciate this content, give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. We've got tons of interviews, including my interview with Jay Cutler as well, so make sure you check that out, which went up recently. So that's it for Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. We are out.